Yo, what's good, y'all? I'm excited to be making this video because it's here and I have it. This is the brand new Mac Studio by Apple and also the brand new Studio display. I have the height adjustable version with the nano textured glass, and I'm going to be doing a totally separate video on this display. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel for that. It's going to be coming really soon. Now in this video, I want to put both of these systems head to head, the brand new Mac Studio and the latest iteration inside of the MacBook Pro, which is the M1 Max. This M1 Max MacBook Pro has been my primary system since it came out. I love this. It's great, and to be completely honest, it handles what I throw at it pretty much flawlessly, but I really want to see how much faster this is and how this handles certain projects that I've done in the past that have given me a little bit of chug. Now here are the specs for both of these systems. The Mac Studio version that I have is a 64 core with 128 gigabytes of RAM and 4 terabytes of SSD storage. Now, this thing is expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's not expensive for what you get, but this is a lot of money. And I don't want to say it's overkill because in a sense, I feel like the computer that you're using should be able to do more than what you currently throw at it. That way it's future-proof for you. And we've seen computers that have cost thousands of dollars nearly become obsolete overnight because of new cameras that come out and new codecs, like with the R5 and the A7S III. Nobody can really edit that footage. So, I mean, I feel like your computer should be able to do more than what you need it to do. In this video, I have a couple music videos that I've edited down inside of Final Cut Pro 10. I want to see how those certain music videos that have given me a little bit of problems in certain areas perform on this. Also want to do some export tests to see how much faster this will export those music videos as opposed to the MacBook Pro, the M1 Max. And also I have a music video that I edited in Premiere a couple of years ago. I haven't used Premiere in a long time, but I would still like to see how the optimization with Premiere has come along with these newer Mac systems. And I also just want to export that out and see how fast it is, because it's like, why not? Now, this isn't going to be a review about the M1 Ultra, but before we get into the head-to-head, I just want to talk about a couple of the things that I've been loving about this. I don't have to tell you that it's fast. It's fast. You already know that. You can look at a spec sheet and see that it's fast. And if this M1 Max has been doing everything that I needed to do, this thing is just going to do it faster and better. So I'm not even going to open up Final Cut and press play so you can see that. Like, both of these things run totally fine, and you won't be disappointed if you buy either one of these. Even if you buy the base model of this, which I think is a lot more comparable to this MacBook Pro, I'm sure that you will be totally fine. But the things that I like about this is it's beautiful. Come on, like you gotta admit it. It looks really good. It's compact. It sits on the desk. It's nice. It has the Apple effect. You already know it looks good. But aside from that, it also has a lot of different ports. You have the 2 USB-C ports on the front of it. You have the SD card slot. Then on the back, you have a ton of different port options. And then when you pair that with the Studio display, you just get more ports. And I love that. Can't stress that enough. The amount of ports you get is just awesome. I love it. But yeah, it's fast. You know that. Let's get into the head-to-head. Before we hop into this head-to-head, there's a couple things I need to point out. The first of which is that these are actual projects. So these are projects with effects on top of them and plugins that might not necessarily be optimized for Final Cut Pro 10 right now. So I just want y'all to know that before y'all go watch another video about the Studio and be like, oh, how come it took yours this long when this person exported out in 30 seconds? A lot of people like to do export tests with YouTube videos with not much happening. That's cool. These music videos have film grain on top. They have color grades on top from Color Finale, which is a plugin that is not from Final Cut Pro 10. So keep in mind, results will vary. And if you don't use these plugins or any of the plugins that I am talking about, your export will probably be significantly faster. These videos also tend to have a ton of clips stacked on top of each other, which can also affect the export times. Okay, so let's just start off hopping into this one project that I just shot on the GH6. This is a brand new camera. I shot this in HEVC and 5.7K OpenGate. So this is a file that was given my MacBook Pro a lot of problems. But the first part of the music video with the effect that I did, is a lot happening. So I just want to hop in here, break down the effect of what's happening and why I feel like this is something that should have been happening anyways, because this is also chugging along a little bit on the Studio as well. So let's just hop straight into these comps that I have. And it is a ton happening in these comps, and I just want to show y'all that. Okay. So this is the first comp right here. Essentially, I had to stack these clips on top of each other and then mask them and then animate the mask in order for me to get the effect that I was looking for. So we are on the Studio right now. We're in Final Cut Pro. And as I click through this composition right here, you can see I have a ton of different clips stacked on top of each other. You can see I have the mask effect on this one. And then if I click on this next clip, this also has a mask, and so on and so forth. All of these clips have masks on them. Then I had to animate the mask to go through to get the effect to happen. So these are clips straight from the GH6. They have a conversion LED on top of them. And if I play through the original composition right now, at full quality, you can see it's running fine. It's not dropping any frames at all. So this is cool. This is what makes me feel like if I was just using the built-in color grading tools in Final Cut, I probably wouldn't be running into the majority of these issues that I'm running into with this project. So you can see the original comp is fine. All right, so let's back out. Now I have the original comp duplicated on top of the original comp. So it's two of the exact same comps. And with the second one, I have a luma keyer and a Gaussian blur on it to give us a nice bloom halation effect. If you peep the highlights right here on the clip, if I turn the effects off, you can see it's not there. So it's essentially just mimicking the look of what you would get from Black Pro Mist. So if I play through this full quality with the halation and the effect on top of it with both of the comps on top, it's fine. We're getting to a point right now where we're dropping a little bit of frames, but I'm almost certain that if I drop this down to a better performance, I'll be totally fine viewing this in the editing sequence. Play through this with the effects on it. It's dropping a couple frames, but it's good. It's not like super terrible. It's not super terrible. All right, so let's back out again and see what else we got. Now we have both of those comps stacked on top of each other in a composition with a ton of keyframes to animate it. So I'm gonna try to play through this with better quality on and see what we have going on. And we're getting to a point right now where we're just dropping frames, right? This is like unviewable right here. So this is at the point in the project where I had to render through the sequence and then view it and then change it after the rendering. So it's a lot happening. I can see why this is chugging up the system. Essentially 6K open gate clips with multiple comps stacked on top of each other with multiple masking and animation and keyframes and Gaussian blur and keyers. It's a lot happening, but it's not it. We back out once again, and then on top of this clip right here, on top of the final comp, which has all of those comps inside of it, I have a color finale clip on top of that with a color finale effect on top of that with film grain. So if I try to play through this right now, it's probably like gonna be getting some beach balls really soon. This is at better quality. Let's just try to play through this and see what happens. Yeah, we got some beach ball action happening. It's a lot happening. It's a lot of different effects. And this is like one of the problems that I was running into on the MacBook Pro. Ironically, the other music video clip that I'm gonna show you is almost the exact same thing. Better performance, it's trying to play through, it's dropping a little bit of frames, but it's not smooth. I mean, this is actually a lot better than what I was getting on the MacBook. Let me try this exact same thing on the MacBook. And it's trying to play, but you can see it's freezing up. So I mean, even right there, you can see the little bit of performance increase on the studio from doing something super extensive like this. I would say that this is probably the project that gave me the most amount of problems on my MacBook Pro. And those problems are still relevant here on the studio. They're just a little bit better. Keep in mind, it's a lot happening. Big file, whatever. Anyways, let's start the timer on both of these and let's time these exports. So I'm gonna start this timer at the exact same time. 3, 2, 1, go. And let's hop into this export and see what we get. Oh, this is spicy. The MacBook actually beat the studio in the export of this 5.7K OpenGate music video with all the effects on it. This took way longer than I expected, but again, this is 5.7. A lot of different effects, might not be optimized. I might also be exporting at a resolution or an export setting that could be better. I don't know. I want to try this again using just the simple YouTube export settings, but this is what I came up with on an H.264 export at 5.7K in OpenGate. This is 4:3. This is a very weird aspect ratio as well. The studio came in at 1 hour, 4 minutes, 29 seconds. And the MacBook Pro came in at 1 hour, 1 minute and 49 seconds. So just shy of 3 minutes faster on the MacBook Pro. Now, watching the export go through, I noticed that the Pro was going faster than the Studio the entire time. I figured it was just going through that effect portion at the beginning of the video, and then once it got to the later clips, it was gonna speed up on this end and win on this, but it actually was a little bit slower. So I don't know, take that for what it is. We're gonna step into the next video though. The next project was shot on the C70 at XAVC. I don't even know what the codec is. It's Cinema 4K from the C70, which is extremely easy to edit down on my MacBook Pro, and what I would assume on here as well. Just playing through this project. This has a color grade on it, and it also has film grain as well. And this is color finale, and at full resolution, this has absolutely no problem playing through. I'm not dropping any frames. There is a portion in this video, however, that has a ton of different effects in it as well. And it's actually very similar to the last music video I showed you, where we have clips stacked on top of each other and we have different effects on those clips. So I just want to go to this green screen part right here and just show you exactly what's happening so you understand why, if this also takes forever to export. Okay, so inside of this comp, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a total of 19 different comps that intertwine on top of each other. And inside of each one of these comps, we have 2 clips. Both have keyer effects on them because these are green screen clips. If I take the effects off, you can see this is a green screen shot right here. We have a keyer on, and then also have a mask on to adjust the key, because on the outskirts of the clip, you can see it's not all green screen. We shot this on the backdrop, so we have the key off of this part over here. So we have a draw mask on one, and then we also have a visual echo as well to give us that effect right there. And I'm gonna scrub through just so you can see exactly what's happening. I don't expect this to play at all. This is at better quality, and yeah, with that echo on, it's just, you know, dropping all kind of frames. If I drop the quality down to a better performance, you can see it's kind of the same thing. It's dropping less frames, but that's what it is. I just wanted to show you that. So we have all of these different compositions. They have keyframes, they have keyers on them, and they also have echo effects. Then we have a background in here as well. If we back out of the comp, we have on top of the comp, we have color grading, and this is all native built-in color grading right here as well, which is probably why this project is running a lot smoother than the other one. On top of this though, we have all of these different color adjustments for our color grade. We have a vignette mask on to give us a little bit more focusing on the comp, and then we have a fisheye effect as well, just so we can distort the edges on it. And then on top of that, we also have a prism effect, so give us that RGB split over there on the edges as well, and that has a mask on it. So it's a ton of things happening here. If I try to play through this, you can see it's dropping all kind of frames. So I'm really interested to see how long this is going to take to export with it not having color finale on top of it. 3, 2, 1, go. So the exports are in, and the Studio was actually faster this time. So the export time from the Studio was 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and the export time from the MacBook Pro was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Not that much faster, 25 seconds faster. But yeah, when it first started, the Studio took off on the MacBook Pro, and then it got to that little portion at the end with the green screen, and it seems like this is a repeating pattern where these things just process tons of effects almost similarly. I don't know, it was faster. We'll see what happens with the next one. The next music video I'm about to load up now does not have any effects on it that are game changing, I believe. So for this project, I also shot this on the C70 in the XAVC codec, I believe. I don't know if I got that wrong. I'll totally put it up on the screen. This is Cinema 4K. And this grades down really well, super easy. I color graded this with color finale, and inside of color finale, I also used some grain. So if we just play this through at full quality, this is pretty good. It's not really dropping any frames right here, and you can see this is playing through pretty smooth. And we got 4K 60 in here. We got Cinema 4K. This just plays through straight. You know what I mean? We go through, we have some visual effects in here as well. But these visual effects were exported into ProRes. So they should export and work really good inside of the program. Aside from the color finale, it's just the grain. And I believe that's it. It's nothing over the top with this. So let's run this through, see what this exports at in terms of time. 3, 2, 1, go. It has to just be color finale. It has to, because that other one exported so much faster with such little effects on it. So that is very interesting, and I'm actually learning something myself from looking at this export. It has to be color finale. Color finale has to be like chugging the system. This is interesting. The export times are in, and the MacBook actually won this one as well. The MacBook came in at 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and the Studio came in at 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So just about 30 seconds faster on the MacBook on this export, which is crazy. One thing that I've noticed just spectating and looking at these exports is color finale, I think, is causing the exports to be significantly slower. And the reason that I say this is on the last project, with the crazy green screen effect at the end of it, as soon as I press export, the rendering, the export like meter flew up to like 70 in a matter of seconds. It was going super fast. And this one was fast, obviously at 3 minutes, but it was just a constant, going up. It was significantly slower getting up to the end of it. But when I put it on that last project that didn't have color finale on it, I'm telling you, it flew up. It was almost there in like, I want to say less than a minute to 70%. So which is very interesting. It makes me want to just export out a project that has no color finale on it and no external plugins, just to see how optimal this would be with, just the built-in color effects and that sort of stuff like that. But that is what it is. The MacBook actually beat the Studio in 2 export tests, which is very, very interesting. All right, so we got the project open inside of Premiere Pro. This is a fairly simple project. Like I said, when I edit my music videos, I put everything on sync, then I stack the clips on top of each other. And then from there, I'll just pull down whatever clips I know specifically I need from the portions underneath my adjustment layer and my letterbox if I decide to do so. So this isn't a bunch of clips stacked on top of each other. This should run totally fine. This is at full resolution on the Studio. And just to play through, this isn't dropping any frames at all. So it's shot on the GH5. I wouldn't expect this to drop any frames, but if you are on a GH5, here's confirmation that this runs pretty smooth. And this has a color grade on top of it on the adjustment layer. And it also has a letterbox on top. This is fine. Effects, everything. This isn't dropping any frames at all. This actually looks really good. The GH5 was crispy. Color's not that great. I could have did this better, but I mean, a couple years, this is straight. So I'm gonna run the export on both of these and see which one is performing better in Premiere Pro. 3, 2, 1, go. The results are in, and man, this test is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So for the Premiere Pro export, the H.264 2-pass, the Studio won by a significant amount. The Studio exported the video out at 4 minutes and 23 seconds, whereas the MacBook exported the video out at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. So we do see a significant gap in performance in terms of export from Adobe Premiere Pro. And this is something that I thought I was going to see across the entire board, but it just goes to show how optimized both of these systems are for Final Cut Pro 10 and how neck and neck they are in these instances where it's not much going on. This just goes to show that this computer, this MacBook, is excellent as well. And the Studio may need a lot more thrown at it to see a significant difference from these two. We might need to be running 3 different programs at one time: Lightroom, exporting out of Premiere, and Final Cut at the same time for us to see a significant difference. But this thing's fast. But the MacBook did beat it in some instances, and this is very, Very, very interesting. So there it is, man. I'm not gonna tell you what computer to buy. If you are even looking to buy a computer, I'll let you make that decision for yourself. But what I can say and what I will say again is that for me personally, with the cameras that I've been using, with the type of content that I make for YouTube and also my music videos, this system right here, this M1 Max MacBook Pro has been awesome. I love the portability of this, and that is also an added feature, added benefit. Also, this MacBook Pro has the best display in pretty much any computer. It's just beautiful, it's vivid, it gets really bright, it's XDR, it's just flawless. I love the display on this. So that's also something that you have to add into this system, this MacBook Pro. It's just great and I love it. In terms of the studio, it's fast, it has a ton of power, and if you're one of the people who needs this additional power, this thing is gonna definitely be the one for you. And it's hands down, it's gonna be the one for you. I talked a little bit earlier about how the base model of this is a lot more comparable to this MacBook Pro. So, I mean, even if you didn't have the money to get this top of the line version of it, I think that the base model will be very comparable to this. Now, one setup that I've been loving is this MacBook Pro with this display. This display is really magic. It looks good. The height adjustable stand for it is awesome. And it's really great to be able to have that additional real estate when using the MacBook Pro or even the Mac Studio. Yeah, so that's that. It's fast. We already know it was fast. I guess it's up to you to decide if it's fast enough to make that jump up to it. I think it's great, and I think it's gonna be a really good system for not only professionals, but people who are looking to future-proof their computer for the long haul. I don't see this thing being obsolete anytime soon, and if you make the investment, I really think that this will be something that lasts you for years. Head down to the comment section to let me know what you guys think about the brand new Mac Studio. This thing is awesome, and I'm really glad to have it in the studio. And it's definitely gonna be the one for me when I'm just sitting down at the desk. When I'm portable, I'll scoop up my MacBook, go take that and use it, because the portability of this is just awesome, and being able to have this on the go and just edit down pretty much anything that I need without any issues is awesome. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like. But with that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.